Welcome to the Wasteland News Network. With the next update coming on July 7th, I'm making a decision as to whether Junkies build is still viable for me or whether it's junk now. There are quite a few new modifiers coming, and one of them I am particularly looking at. But first, I want to show you my Junkies build right now. Now, to get a Junkies build, you need to be addicted to a minimum of 5 addictions. And as you can see, buff out Calmex, Fury, Medex, and Psycho. But take a look at the debuffs. I've had this build off and on for a couple of years now, and I have a massive collection of Junkies weapons. But what I dislike about the build are the debuffs. Now, currently, I'm losing 3 strength, 1 endurance, 3 agility, 3 perception, and 20 damage resistance. Now, yes, I know I can carry these drugs around, consume them at any time if I want to get rid of the negative effects, but that is not practical for me and all of that. So I'm looking for a replacement for my Junkies build. So let's first prove that Junkies does a 50% damage buff. So what you do is you remove all of your perk cards. Here we go. They're all removed. I do have some legendary perks, but they're not going to affect this in any way. A couple of things, nothing, whatever. As long as we can get close to the base damage of 54. And this is using, I'm calculating it with a handmade because it's my favorite weapon. So why not use a handmade? Okay, so what I have is a assassin short handmade, and it's coming in. And both of these are modified exactly the same. So to calculate it, I take both weapons, and this one is giving me 54 damage. Now, with my Junkies build, this is just showing the receivers and everything. It's going to switch to the Junkies, so exactly the same modifications. One isn't better than the other. You can bump it up with mods to get even more damage, but just to show you, both weapons are exactly the same. Okay, I'm getting 54 damage on the Assassin's handmade, and when I equip the Junkies, I'm getting 81. So if you take the 54 and you add 50%, you're going to get 81. So we know that Junkies is a 50% damage increase. So I'm looking for a new legendary attribute coming out with a new update, and I think it's going to be this one, Aristocrats. Damage increases as caps increase with a maximum of plus 50% damage at 29,000 caps. Now I'm going to keep an eye on that 29,000 caps and test it as soon as I get one of these weapons, because the 29,000 caps was set when our maximum caps was 30,000 caps. But since it's increasing to 40,000 caps, I'm going to make sure that this 29,000 doesn't increase to 39,000 caps. So I will test that as soon as I get one when the game goes live. So again, this is Aristocrats. It's giving me 50% more damage, the same as Junkies, but without any debuffs. So that's fantastic. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. In the second slot, there's also a new second slot called Steady, and that's going to give you plus 25% damage while standing still, kind of like Sentinel, but on a weapon. So if you take the 50% from Aristocrats and you add 25% for Steady, you're getting 75% more damage. Now, I'm not saying to only use this combination. Obviously, if you get a bloodied weapon with Steady, wow, that's going to be amazing. And also, even if you got, say, something like Mutants is getting a buff too of 5% per mutation, so that's 25%. And then if you add Steady, if you find one with Steady, there's plus 50% for just being mutated with 5 different mutations. So there's all kinds of combinations. But for me, being a full health build and being a junkie for so long, I'm definitely looking for this particular combination. Now, if faster fire rate or explosive comes along in the second slot instead of Steady, hey, that's another thing to test and to look out for. But right now, an Aristocrats with Steady, for me, is going to give me between 50 and 75% more damage, but without any Junkies debuffs. And obviously, if you have a Junkies legacy weapon, yes, you're going to want to hang on to that. But for anything else, I'm going to go ahead and replace them a little at a time. It'll probably take a little while to go ahead and craft these or find them at the purveyor or in drops or something. So it's definitely something that I will absolutely positively do. So thanks so very much for watching, and I will see you out in the wasteland.